Welcome to episode 134 of the Forward from 50 podcast, where we interview people over 50 who are pursuing new direction for their lives. It's an opportunity for men and women to tell their stories, their way, and in their own words. I'm Greg Gerber, the founder of Forward from 50, and your host for today's show. Today's guest is Becky Bongiovanni, the co-founder and brand president of Care Patrol. It is a network of more than 200 care specialists across 40 states and parts of Canada. The network's independent advisors will come to your home for face-to-face discussion to learn about specific needs and to make recommendations about where to get needed care. With a background in geriatric ophthalmology and a deeply personal connection to the challenges of elder care, Becky helps families make informed, confident decisions when it comes to finding the right long-term care options for their loved ones. In this episode, you'll learn why the senior care industry is so confusing and how Care Patrol works to simplify it. What families need to know about facility inspections, care histories, and state licensing requirements. How Care Patrol advisors personally vet and tour facilities before making recommendations. Why Becky believes it's never too late to rediscover joy and pursue long-lost passions. Finally, how purpose, not just care, plays a pivotal role in healthy aging. Whether you're in the sandwich generation, supporting your own children and aging parents, or you're exploring purposeful career options after retirement, Becky's story offers insights and encouragement. To learn more about Care Patrol, why Becky is so passionate about it, and how you can join her network to help people in your own community, please welcome Becky Bongiovanni, the founder of Care Patrol, to the show. Thank you for joining me today, Becky. I really appreciate it. How did you come up with the idea of Care Patrol?
My husband is a master's degree social worker and had worked in healthcare for years and really was helping families find how to find care. He would be visiting people in their home or even in their care community home and identified that people really needed help. So he started to go into private practice for himself in the early 1990s. And I met Chuck in the early 2000s. I had been working in ophthalmology in a geriatric ophthalmology practice. I really loved what Chuck was doing. He was looking for an extra person to work in his office. And I thought it was really incredible because I had never heard of a company like this. And on a personal level, I saw my mom struggle so much with what to do with care for my grandfather, my grandmother, and even my great-grandfather. And unfortunately, my grandfather suffered abuse in a nursing home. And so I really loved the idea of helping people navigate and avoid those kind of problems.
That is such a problem. I know a lot of people struggle with that when they have to put mom and dad in an assisted care facility because they just don't have the time or the resources or the ability to care for them. The last thing they want is mom or dad abused as a result of that. So Care Patrol is a private company that sort of recommends care facilities to people. Is that what I understand?
Yes, that's correct. We really help families navigate that journey. And, what people don't realize is that care, especially care in assisted living, is licensed differently in every single state. And there are different levels to the care, and there are care histories on each of these communities that are to be made available to the public at large, but the public at large doesn't always know about that. And so we saw this as an opportunity for us to really help educate people. And before we even meet with any family, we make sure that we have personally toured all of the communities in the area. So we have several locations, over 200 locations across 40 states in the United States, and we have also have a couple of locations in Canada. So our advisors, they have a territory that they oversee. So their job is to go and visit all of these communities and really know what they can provide and know what their background is before we even start working with families. And it's something we stay on top of on an annual basis so that we can really provide great information. And I think what we have seen over the years is families are looking for that kind of third-party input, right? When you go to a community, you meet with a sales director, and their job is to really help you sell you on the pros of the building. And I think what consumers really want nowadays is that third party that can really give some great advice and maybe tell more about the history.
I would agree with that. The advantage of a third-party endorsement is very powerful, especially when it comes from a trusted resource. So when you say you're visiting the communities, you don't mean the cities in which these facilities are located, but the actual facilities themselves. You're going through and touring them just like you would if you were
Yep.
looking for care there.
That's correct.
Okay, that's an ambitious project, I would imagine. And
It is. We have a lot of data on many of the communities. And I will say, we're really proud to say that most of the communities really do a fantastic job. They're in business for a reason and they do a wonderful job, but it's hard to know as an outsider really what you're looking for. And I think what we see a lot of times is families trying to come up with solutions, but not really addressing all of the needs. For example, if you have, let's say, a diagnosis of Parkinson's, in the early stages, you're very independent, but in the later stages, you can become very dependent. And it is heartbreaking to realize that as you go through those changes, the community you're living in may not suit you as your care needs increase. And so it's just something we try to think about everything, right? We try to be proactive, think about where you are now and talk to you about your goals and really what the future looks like so that you have a really good picture of what your plan should be. So there are minimal or no surprises.
that would be nice. I'm sure that people looking for that kind of help would like to rest in confidence that they're making the right decisions. So when you are evaluating these facilities, you're going through and touring them physically. And I guess every year you do an audit on these facilities as well. Does that mean that you're going back in just to see what's changed or what's different at the facilities? Or are you doing like background investigations to find those problems that they'd really like to keep well hidden?
We do a little of both, and it's easy for us to do because we're out in the community every day. So we're in and out of these buildings on a weekly basis. And so we have that on-site perspective, but we also are able to look at the state reviews. Every state has surveyors that go out and inspect those communities, and families should know that they have a right to ask for a copy of those when they go and visit. Sometimes communities will say, "Oh, that's not available," but it really should be available to everyone. And so that's one of the things that we do as well.
I would imagine that some of these reviews are chock full of governmentese or legalese language that makes it difficult to understand what is actually being said. I've noted that in different segments of the government tends to go that way.
Yes,
So you
that is,
interpret those big complex
yep,
reviews and put them in plain language.
yes, absolutely. And every state has different, like I said, different regulations. So it really just depends on what's going on with the community. But we can help people. We can explain what those citations mean, what the enforcements mean, and break it down into simple language for sure.
Okay, because there are some minor infractions that every business is probably going to have, and you can assure people that it's not that big a deal, even though it might show up in a government report. But then there are certain ones that you really want to avoid. And
Exactly. I like to say that if I just did a surprise visit to your house today, and maybe you didn't make the bed, maybe there's dirty dishes in the sink, and that's not harmful to anybody, right? But
Mhm.
somebody might write you up for that. And what we look for are the more serious ones where there's maybe harm to a resident,
Yeah.
medication mismanagement, because that can cause real problems as well. And also if they're on a probationary period and if they need to make some corrections before the state allows them to keep their license.
You provide this service nationwide. Is it you have one
That's right.
central location that's doing this, or is this a franchise?
This is a franchise, so we are nationwide.
Okay. And you provide services free to people. How do you do that? Seems
We
hard for you to make money.
It's not a charity, that's for sure. So the communities do pay us when we bring a resident to them. They consider it a good use of their marketing dollars. Communities always set aside money for marketing, and we're a great way to use that money because we're bringing interested parties that are looking for care.
Okay.
So that's how we're able to make it no charge to families.
Does that influence your decision sometimes when recommending one facility over another in a
That's a really great question. It really doesn't because it's really similar across the board what communities pay us. And our main objective is to make sure that families are taken care of. We know that if we don't take care of families, they're not going to continue to recommend our services. So we are highly interested in making sure that it's a good fit for the families that we're serving. And I can tell you that many of our locations will even recommend communities where they don't get paid because it's in the best interest of the clients that they're serving.
Oh, that's good to hear. Now, you said you had 200 locations in 40 states. Does that mean that you would be open to having franchises in all 50 states? Or are there some regulatory things that prevent that?
We are open to that for sure. We've been growing, and our goal is to get to 250 locations by the end of this year. So we still have lots of opportunity. And last year, we actually broke into Canada. And so we have Toronto, Ontario markets available. We have Vancouver markets available as well.
Okay. If somebody were interested in becoming a franchisee, what would it take?
We want to make sure we have the right people. So we do have a vetting process that we go through. But I would say, first of all, you've got to have a huge passion for helping aging adults. I like to say if that doesn't grind your gears, if that doesn't get you out of bed in the morning, this is not the opportunity for you because this is social work 101 and you're going to see humanity at its best and at its
Mm,
worst. And it's your passion for helping people is what is really going to make you a successful business owner. And of course, you have to just be a people person in general, right? You've got to be likable. And I think you also have to be someone that is highly motivated to run your own business because running a business isn't for everyone. And of course, we provide lots of support, but that you've got to be excited about. Maybe you're someone who's really been an overachiever your whole life and you've worked for companies and helped them be successful. And now you want to start doing something great for your family and making a difference in your community.
sounds like a great opportunity for somebody who's over 50 who really wants to give back to their local community and help people. Is there a cost to becoming a franchisee?
Yes, there is. There is a franchise fee that you pay, and then there's ongoing royalties. But we make it simple because we teach you and train you and provide you with the support and give you the tools and the resources. So if it's something that folks are interested in, we'd love for them to reach out. I can say that many of our franchisees have retired from their professional careers. And really, that's why they joined Care Patrol because they went through this themselves and saw the difficulty. And really, they want to make a difference and help other people.
Do they need to have a big staff in order to do this? Or is this something a husband and wife team could do on their own?
I would say a husband and wife team can start it on their own,
Okay.
but as you grow, you may need, I would say our biggest locations have somewhere between 8 to 10 people,
Okay.
but that can be developed over time, your staff. It's not something you need right away.
And when you're going through the training process, you're not throwing them into the deep end, right? They're able to go to one of these these existing facilities and shadow people for a little while to figure out how to do it right.
Yes, absolutely. So we require all of our franchisees to be certified senior advisors. And so to be a certified senior advisor it's a long process of studying. You have to pass a test and you also have to pass a background check. And of course, we also background check our franchisees. And you have to keep continuing educational credits. And then we have an intense training program and we have a mentorship built into our training so that we call them our support coaches. Our support coaches are out with our franchisees as they start that journey. And we also have franchise mentors who have long tenure with us and are successful. And they also go out and shadow with those folks in the beginning. And then, of course, we have a very collaborative network, and our franchisees understand that we all need to help each other out. And so, what I think is really great is when you have neighbors, we call them neighbors, but basically you have other Care Patrol locations in your region or in your state. There's lots of opportunity to network and help each other. So it's a very supportive network.
That would be a good idea, knowing that there are other facilities in other parts of the state that might be even better suited for providing the specific care that the patient needs.
Exactly.
So that doesn't necessarily mean that the franchisee has to know of all the options available in the state, but they should really know what's in their local area and then maybe reach out to the other franchisees if they have a patient who needs special care.
Exactly, exactly. And you can be in close proximity. There's a lot of folks, for example, people in New Jersey and New York that are looking to retire in Florida. And so there's a lot of across the country networking that our franchisees do. So we have chats available for them to reach out to each other if they don't know each other directly. And we really foster that. So there's a lot of collaboration that's done across the network for sure.
I know on your website that people have the option of filling out a little form to get senior care options in their area. And all they have to do is fill out their name, address, phone number, name, email address, and phone number, and the zip code. And then you can recommend them, I would imagine, pass that lead on to other franchises.
Yes, absolutely. So if you fill out a form, the location that you reached out to will contact you. They'll do a little intake to understand what you're looking for, what your needs are, what's going on. And then from there, they'll make recommendations. So they may say, the person you really need to talk to is my cohort just down the road or maybe in another state, and I'll make the introduction for you. Or they'll start, if it's right in the area that you're looking for that they serve, they'll set up a meeting with you.
Your website outlines a whole bunch of different care options from assisted living to memory care to Alzheimer's care, nursing homes, independent living, home care, and respite care. Your franchisees are familiar with all of those options in that area?
Absolutely. Because we know when we're speaking with families, they are all coming from different backgrounds and different needs, different healthcare issues. And so our goal is to really find the best fit for them. And some folks just need some retirement. They're not really looking for care, but they just want worry-free living. And other folks are dealing with complex disease processes and they need heavier care. So it's our job to really know all of the options for families so that we can provide them with the best solutions.
That's where I think that having a senior care advisor would be very helpful because you can just bare your heart. And this is what we need. This is what we're looking for. This is what we want to avoid. This is what mom or dad really want. What can we do? And then have all those options laid out before them. I think that would be invaluable.
Oh, it's amazing because most people just think maybe nursing home is the only option for them because that's how it used to be years ago. And there's so many options and they all do different things. It's really helpful to have an education on it.
That's right. People can still live at home if somebody comes in to help them clean and maybe cook a meal or two every week.
Exactly. The key to longevity is really bringing in the correct interventions soon enough so that you can continue to thrive. And what we see in aging adults that are living alone at home, the biggest thing that causes them to decline is lack of nutrition, lack of hydration, and proper medication management. My advice to folks out there is don't procrastinate. It's so important to be proactive. And there are so many myths to aging. For example, I can think back to when I was a younger child and my grandparents had the mindset that they probably shouldn't exercise because they could hurt themselves. But we know now that's just not the truth. As you age, you must continue exercise, and it needs to be an everyday routine. And that will keep you healthier longer. Mobility is so important. It's a key factor to aging successfully.
I'm so glad to hear you say that. I turned 65 in a couple of weeks and I just joined a gym myself because
Oh, that's great.
I could see where I was headed and it wasn't good. So I figured I'd better start doing some
Yes.
strength training to be able to get on the ground to play with my grandkids.
Yes. It's wonderful.
What are safer senior options?
So that's a really great question. So safer means that it's going to be an option that matches your care needs and that matches your goals and that also passes the state inspection. And so that, again, that's the mystery. People, it's not, the information is not very straightforward for the general public. And so we believe in giving expert recommendations that really match what your care needs are, what your care goals are, what you can afford, right?
Mhm.
And the area you're looking in, and that they are reputable places that do a wonderful job.
Your website has a care assessment tool. What does that involve?
It's just really to help us understand a little bit more about what the activity of daily living needs you have. Someone who is needing help with dressing, showering, toileting, medication management, those folks are going to probably need a different community than some folks who just really just want a lifestyle community. They can do everything themselves, but they just want to have fun. So that looks different. So really, it's going to give us a good idea of all of your needs so that we can make sure we're giving the best recommendations.
One of the items on that checklist is loss of interest in hobbies and activities. That really doesn't have to do with somebody living independently or in a care facility. It sounds more like purpose, ensuring that somebody has something meaningful to wake up in the morning to do every day. You folks also involved in helping people develop or identify those kind of purpose activities?
All the time. And no matter what your care level is, I think one of the things that we see as people age is you can lose a sense of purpose because you start to think, maybe I've developed a certain disability and maybe I can never do this again. And we want to challenge folks and help them see that there is life after aging, right? And you can still find purpose. And I would argue that aging adults have a lot more to offer because they have so much wisdom. And I'm becoming one, so I can really speak from personal experience here. But I think the communities do a really great job of trying to find that too, because purpose is a part of successful aging.
Absolutely. Without it, people go downhill really quickly. That's what I've noticed
Yes.
personally.
And that's something that we run across a lot because folks, as you age, there's a lot of losses that come with aging.
Yes.
You lose independence, you lose friends. So it's so important to find things that make you happy and that make you feel like every day was a day of purpose and success.
One of the resources you have on your website is a podcast. And I've looked at it. It's got several dozen different episodes that you have already recorded that address many of the things that people are probably questioning about when it comes to finding care for your loved one or the types of care that are available. Are you still doing the podcast?
I think we put a pause on it because we had so much great content. We recycled it, but we did launch it a couple of years ago because there is such a need to educate folks.
Exactly.
And so I will say the content is still relevant, even though we haven't probably had any recent recordings. And we look at it, we're using it more of a library, and it's definitely something, a lot of that information is very relevant. And so I would say it's a great place to start if you just have questions, if you want to hear what other people have gone through, if you want to hear from experts who are talking on certain subjects. It's a great way to educate yourself, educate your family. There's usually a divide between children of the aging parents. And what we want to do is bring everybody together and understand that aging is different for everybody, and that we need to be really compassionate to our parents and understand what they're going through and listen and allow them to feel everything they're feeling, validate their feelings, because it's not easy navigating those changes, but we can do it together if we all stick together.
I like some of the episodes that you have there. Signs that your aging parent may need help. That's something that somebody could listen to on their own without even having mom or dad understand what's going on, just to educate yourself, to be aware and on the lookout for those kinds of things. Navigating fall prevention for aging parents. It's something that we can do in the sandwich generation to go into our folks' home and make sure there are no exposed cords or rugs, etc., that could cause those tripping hazards. So this is really good resources, I think.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that you think so. I can tell you that, that it can be a little sneaky when it's your own parent. We always look at our parents as they've got it, right? They've got it together. Not everybody is keeping an eye on what's going on. And parents are very good at concealing when they need help because they don't want to bother anybody. They don't want to be a burden. And so it is good to start having proactive conversations, but in a way that is supporting your parent, not telling them what to do, because we do want to respect their autonomy, their independence. But at the same time, if there are problems like a decline in cognition, we have to be there for our parents like they were for us when we were younger. Sometimes they don't notice that they need help, and it's not their fault. It's just because of the disease process. And that's a lot of times when families really realize it's a situation bigger than them and they need help from professionals.
People in our generation, like mid 60s, they're called the sandwich generation for a reason. They just get rid of the kids, get them out of college, get them on their own, and then have a few years of freedom before mom and dad require extra care. So, do you provide care for the caregivers as well?
We have a lot of great recommendations, caregiver support group situations. We're partners, we're national partners with the Alzheimer's Association, and I think they do an extremely wonderful job of helping provide support for caregivers. But we can recommend even other options if that's not something that makes sense for that family, because caregivers need a lot of support. And what we find is there's usually a primary caregiver in every family. And unfortunately, that person is not always supported by the rest of the family. Sometimes they're getting picked on or criticized instead of folks lending a helpful hand. And so we can be a part of those conversations and help. And we really want to help families come together and recognize that it's not easy being a caregiver. And so we definitely provide support for them.
You're right about that. They can try balancing the desires of mom and dad with their actual needs and the desires of siblings and other family members. It can be tough when mom and dad say, I want no intervention taking place, do not resuscitate. And the other people are saying, you do whatever you can to keep mom and dad alive for as long as possible.
Yep.
That's just heartbreaking.
It is heartbreaking. And a lot of what we do is educating folks on really understanding and respecting the situation that your parents are in.
What kind of challenges have you faced in operating Care Patrol?
I think the biggest challenge, and I hate to say it because we all talk about it still, but going through COVID was one of the biggest challenges I think that we faced, because it was a healthcare crisis and communities were shut down because they had to be, and it caused a lot of isolation for aging adults. And we just saw a lot of folks decline, and it was really hard on the families. But what I'm proud to say is that even though those were some dark days, we were very much a presence and a force out in the community, helping families and healthcare professionals navigate something that none of us had ever gone through. And we all got together and figured out how we could help folks in a virtual way. And the communities, I think, did a great job of as they could by getting families to connect virtually. It wasn't the best, but it was all we could do. I think that was a huge challenge. And I can say that we're all glad that we have gotten through that.
No kidding. That was very stressful, to say the least. Your job has to come with a lot of stress. What kinds of things do you do for fun to get relief from that?
I have always loved working at Care Patrol. I've been here for over 20 years myself. And I will say I've been a workaholic most of my life because I love what I do and I'm very passionate about it. But it's funny that you ask because something did happen to me when I turned 50 or somewhere around that age. I started realizing that I needed more in life. And so I actually started a hobby. I started horse riding.
Ooh, in your 50s.
In my 50s, yes.
That's neat. Do you own a horse?
I do own a horse. I have a quarter horse.
Okay, super. How often do you get out?
I'm a weekend warrior because I still work during the day, but usually every weekend we hit the trails. And I have to say, having a horse has taught me so much about myself. I didn't realize what a control freak I was until I got on a horse because a horse has its own, it's not like riding a bike, which I love riding my bike. I love riding my bike, but it's a cooperation, it's a partnership, and you have to be a leader all the time. You can't just check out. So I learned a lot about myself, and being a good leader with my horse is not about micromanaging my horse. It's about trusting and then having that partnership. So it's been pretty amazing.
Did you like horses as a little girl?
I did like horses,
Did you have
but
one?
I had never ridden them ever.
Oh, okay. That's the kind of thing we like to do at Forward from 50. Go back into the past, the things that you were passionate about, and see if we can't bring them forward and do it now while we're still
And
young enough to enjoy it.
and it's a courageous thing to do. I think I had a lot of fear in the beginning and I had to face my fear. But I have to say, I feel like it's helped me. I feel younger in doing it.
I can imagine. And it's just, they are very majestic animals and loving too, from the people that I have spoken with who have cared for horses.
They're amazing. A horse is really a mirror reflection of who you are. They're so sensitive. And if you're upset, your horse can get upset. Right? And if you're calm, your horse will be calm. So it is a great self-regulating type of animal to have. You learn a lot about yourself, and you also learn it's a courageous thing. I think you gain a lot of courage in being able to ride such a big animal that has a mind of its own, but you can work together. It's just magical.
That's right. People think their dogs have a mind of their own, and they have never encountered a horse who wants to go in a different direction or just will not go. It's time to go. If you could turn the clock back, do you have any regrets or things that you would do differently?
That's a really good question. I think when I think about my life, I think I probably could have some regrets, but I choose not to because I think that life comes with its own challenges and you do the best you can as you go. And I think I used to have lots of regrets when it came to raising my kids, and as I say, I worked a lot, and I wish maybe I would have had more time with my kids. But I have to say the positive side of it is really great because they tell me a lot how much they look up to me. They appreciate what I've accomplished in my life, and I've been an example for them that they want to follow. I can't complain about that.
How many children do you have?
I have 4 children.
4 kids. My
Yes.
goodness. I had 3 and that was a handful. Super. Does that mean you're fortunate to have grandchildren?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Yeah.
Something to look forward to. What advice would you give to people over 50 to help them either identify or pursue things that they are passionate about or that could give their life more meaning?
You are never too old to learn. And if you are interested in something, go do it. I don't care how scared you are or how much you think I can't do it because of this. Don't listen to the excuses. You can find a way. And you're only as old as you feel. And if you feel old, it's time to go find something that makes you feel young and makes you feel vibrant. You deserve it. And this is your one and only life. And no one else is looking out for you but you. So go do it.
That is excellent advice. I really like that. How can people connect with you if they'd like to learn more about Care Patrol or just ask you a question?
I think the easiest way is just to visit our website. For me personally, Allie, what should we say here?
Definitely website. I think that's perfect. I don't know. Do you want to give out your LinkedIn or just keep it through the website?
The website has LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and
Yeah.
YouTube, it looks like. So we would automatically connect with all those folks.
Yeah, I think
that's
it's perfect. We can keep it just like on Care Patrol's LinkedIn and website. I think that's perfect.
Okay, super. Then
Yeah,
would you
so
say that
so
for
just
me? Yes.
simply, yeah, we would love for you to visit our website. You can find all of the links to our social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, and connect with us that way. We'd love to meet you and learn more about you and help you on your journey.
This has been great. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time today, Becky. It sounds like Care Patrol is a wonderful opportunity for people to get unbiased, personalized information about options that they need to look at. And so thank you for putting it together and making it available to everyone. I wish you the best of luck going forward.
Thank you so much, Greg. It's been a pleasure.
After turning 50, Becky Bongiovanni discovered that there was more to life than just work, even though she's loved every minute of her more than 20-year journey with Care Patrol. As a franchise-based business, Care Patrol offers free advisory services to families searching for safe and suitable care options, including assisted living, memory care, independent living, in-home support, and nursing facilities. Advisors not only tour local facilities in person, but they also review and translate complex government inspection reports into plain language to ensure families can understand the quality of care being offered. What makes the service stand out is its unbiased, education-focused approach. Advisors are trained and certified to help clients choose facilities based on their medical conditions, mobility, budget, preferences, and long-term goals, not just the business's marketing hype. Becky's goal is to ensure the care community matches a person's current and future needs. She wants people to age safely, but with dignity and with purpose. Although the business side is demanding, Becky's work is deeply meaningful to her. She knows firsthand the pain of navigating elder care alone, especially after witnessing her grandfather suffer abuse in a nursing home. Today, Care Patrol helps families avoid those painful outcomes by offering expert guidance, compassionate support, and insights into local facilities. Around the time she turned 50, Becky started engaging in activities that give her life joy, like horseback riding. That was always something she loved from afar, but never took time to fully pursue it. Now the proud owner of a quarter horse, Becky rides trails on the weekends, and she finds the experience to be relaxing and empowering. Riding horses taught her a lot about herself, as well as how to let go of control and to lead with confidence. That step into equestrian life also reflects Becky's larger philosophy that you're never too old to try something new. Her advice for anyone over 50 searching for more meaning in their lives is to do the things they've always wanted to do, but were too busy, scared, or practical to try. Whether it's launching a business, riding a horse, or supporting aging adults in your community, when you're over 50, you deserve to live your life with meaning and purpose. To learn more about Becky's work or to connect with a Care Patrol advisor near you, visit www.carepatrol.com. That's all for this week's show. If you'd like to start living a more meaningful life, I encourage you to download our free guide to finding purpose, which is available at www.forwardfrom50.com. I'll have another inspirational interview on the next episode of the Forward from 50 podcast. Thanks for listening, and if you like the show, please consider leaving your review wherever you download the episodes.